Hello and welcome to our live broadcast, and welcome as well if you are jumping on with us via our post on YouTube and Facebook. Today we're going to be talking about kind of identifying some signs and symptoms that your body is sending you and how that might be traced back to some food intolerances. So if you're joining us, my name is Diane. If you're joining us live, my name is Diane. Thank you so much for being here. When you jump on, please leave a comment in the comment section. That way I know that you are here and I can welcome you at the end. The format for this discussion is I talk about the subject on the front end. And the back end, I do open up the conversation for sharing maybe some of your personal experiences as well as answering some questions that you might have. This is an amazing community of women where we practice intermittent fasting and a keto-like lifestyle to really take advantages of what that can do as a healing mechanism for our bodies as we start to age. I have been doing this type of work for the past 25 years. I'm a certified exercise nutrition coach and an almost certified running coach. And I will let you guys know when that certification comes in. And I really do have a passion for helping women really figure out what is going on in their bodies and their body systems and helping you realize how you can really take control of your health by just listening to those signs and signals. So I'm going to start today's talk with sharing a personal experience that I went through this weekend that will hopefully give you guys some confidence and some, maybe just a little bit of permission to test out some waters. So I have been living this lifestyle for the past 3 years. The first year I really struggled with trying to figure out my body, and the last 2 years I've really been fine-tuning and manipulating with my fasting and what I'm doing in my feasting and really paying attention to the signs and signals that my body is sending me. All of those signs and signals that were happening before this 3-year journey started were being sent to me in ways where my body was just slowly breaking itself down systematically because of some of the food intolerances that I had and some of the things that I was putting in my body that my body was not having a good chemical reaction to. And we need to remember that everything that we put in our body does cause some sort of chemical reaction, which then in turn causes a hormonal response. So this weekend, I had a really busy Friday. I spent about 3.5 hours doing this type of work, live, like teachings and lessons in some of my courses, and I did a live on our Instagram page, and so I was absolutely exhausted mentally, physically, and emotionally. And then I had to chaperone my daughter's dance that evening. So I had to spend the evening with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in a dance. I was exhausted and I didn't want to have to make dinner, so I said, hey, let's order some pizza from the place that doesn't bother us. So we kind of have identified the good places and maybe the not so good places for our body and what we want to keep as far as boundaries for ourselves. So we're going to order pizza and our favorite salad from the good place, the good pizza place. It didn't cause us any kind of reactions. And we had, what do we have, Michael, like a margarita pizza or something? Mm-hmm. So margarita pizza, pretty decent. And we had our favorite salad that just had some lettuce and some vegetables, and we always take the dressing on the side. And then they have some diced chicken and a little bit of corn and like a little tinfoil thing that they put on the side, and so we put that on top of our salad. Never felt a problem before, or didn't realize a problem before. So Michael and I split a small pizza. So I think I maybe had 2 or 3 pieces of pizza, and it's super thin crust, so not a big deal as far as the carbs go. We had our salad with the chicken and a little bit of the corn on top, and within an hour after consuming the good pizza from the good place, I was laid out on the couch. My hands started to hurt, specifically right around my knuckle area. I felt like my hands were stiffening up, and I just felt physically ill. I had really done nothing else that day. I fasted really well. I had a workout, drank lots of water. So I was going into that feasting situation feeling on top of the world. And within an hour after consuming dinner, I was sick. Those signs and signals for my body are gluten and corn. So gluten and corn are those 2 things that cause my body to, my to immediately inflame, specifically around my joints. So it would be pretty close to what it would feel like if you had arthritis type of thing. The next morning when I woke up, my feet were super stiff and really sore, like I could barely take the first few steps out of bed, and my lower back was just absolutely killing me. Now, normally I would connect those feelings to a really big workout the day before. Like maybe I was running on the treadmill, my feet were just a little bit achy, or maybe my form was a little off, or just an off day and my back was sore. But I had just come off of 2 rest days. So Thursday and Friday, I actually were rest days, so I didn't even work out on Friday because I knew I had a big day. I was resting my body, and I had plans for a really big workout weekend. So Saturday and Sunday were my workout days. So the foot pain and the back pain had nothing to do with a previous day's workout. I didn't have any of those pains Thursday or Friday, so it wasn't even from a Wednesday workout. It was all just my body's autoimmune response to gluten and corn, and probably the chicken that was in that salad, because we don't know where that chicken came from. A lot of restaurants really do go low budget when they're purchasing their food items. I'm sure a pizza place is one of those. And so probably not the highest grade of chicken in that salad that I consumed as well. Now, let me back up the scenario a little bit more, and the fact that when I made this decision to run my half marathon, my decision was, and I asked Michael to, just kind of help me out with this, was to not eat out much, because every time we go out and eat at a restaurant, we open up that opportunity to have an exposure to something that one of us is intolerant to, whether it be gluten or maybe some accidental soy getting in, or like the corn, or bad chicken from a place that we don't know where it was raised and we don't know what that chicken ate. And so
it's like a spoonful of corn. It's not a lot of corn.
It's not a lot of corn. It's not like I was eating corn on the cob, but when your body gets so fine-tuned and so cleaned out, the tiniest little exposure can cause a reaction in your body. And so I had the pizza with the chicken and the corn, and I think that combination was just really bad for me. And because we haven't been eating out, and I've been very, very deliberate about everything that I'm consuming in my feast, because I'm training for an event. So I'm training like an athletic body when I'm in my feasted state. It was a very raw exposure for my body. My body was super vulnerable to reaction. So all of the things that I felt on Saturday were a direct relation to a gluten exposure. So had I not spent the last 3 years really researching this and listening to the signs and signals that my body was sending me, I would have thought that this feeling in my joints and this feeling in my back and this feeling in my feet were a bad day or a bad workout, or maybe I need to go get some new shoes, and I probably would have soothed it with 3 or 4 Motrin. So that would be 600 or 800 what is it called, micrograms, I think it is, of Motrin. Is it
milligram?
No, milligrams. No, milligrams is liquid, so I think it's micrograms or whatever it is. I would have taken 4 Motrin to alleviate the pain and alleviate the inflammation, because we all know that Motrin, Advil, all those things are like an anti-inflammatory. So I would have covered up the symptoms, and I would have gone about my life, not making the connection to the pain and the inflammation and the joint aches with gluten and possibly the chicken and the corn. When we don't take the time to really get our body into that point where we can loudly and clearly identify the signs and symptoms that our body is sending us with something that we put in our body that causes that chemical and or hormonal reaction, what we end up doing is living in this hamster wheel of exposure, pain or discomfort, soothing, exposure, pain or discomfort, soothing. And what the soothing does is it takes away that discomfort or that pain, but it doesn't send that signal to your brain like, no, something that you just did is wrong. And if you keep ignoring these signs and signals that I'm trying to send to you, then I'm going to start sinking the ship, and I'm going to start causing some problems that are going to be bigger for you that you're going to have to pay attention to. So many women are suffering from these signs and signals on a daily basis. They're categorized most of the time as autoimmune disorders. Arthritis being one of those things. I know in my family that arthritis, along with some other things that I have on a list, it's genetic. My grandmother had the worst hands. I just remember my grandmother, my entire childhood, living on aspirin for the pain that she had in her hands with her arthritis. My mom has the same type of thing, and it's a gluten reaction, and they're all exactly the same types of signs and signals that I feel in my day. The difference between my grandmother's generation or even my mother's generation is they don't have the same information available to us, or they just weren't as tuned into the reality that they could fix themselves. So everything that I have seen those two women in my life go through, I was starting to experience. The only difference was I stopped to listen, and I stopped to do the research, and I stopped to connect the dots. I have been doing this for 2 years successfully. I teach women how to do it, and I still have to take the time every now and then to stop, feel what's going on in my body, and then think about the correlation of what I did and how I feel. And so now our pizza place that was on the good list is now on the no-go list, and we're not going to eat there anymore because I can't afford to have a day where I feel like I can't move. So what I have done, and what I've done always when I have these little accidental or unexpected signs and signals from food exposures, is I fast my way out of it. And what I did on Saturday is I had a really big workout plan. So none of my workouts were paused, because I know now through experience that working it out of my system and fasting it out of my system is the fastest way to get one of those intolerance exposures just gone. I just know that that's the best way to get it to exit my system. So instead of sitting around and moping and feeling sorry for myself, or drugging myself up with some anti-inflammatories or some painkillers, or like the good old days, a bottle of wine or something to just make me feel better for the moment, I put my bike shoes on and I did an intense Peloton ride, sweated it all out. Then Michael and I went with Gabby and Callie, we went for a total of like a 6-mile walk. I fasted the entire day until we had dinner Saturday night. We ate super clean on Saturday night. And then Sunday, which was yesterday, I woke up and I had plenty of water. I did my little pre-workout before I work out, and I was able to run 90 minutes on my treadmill. Today, I feel absolutely fantastic. Yesterday, I woke up, no back pain, no foot pain, no joint pain in my hands. I felt like I was right back where I was the Friday afternoon before I exposed myself to that pizza. It is super important for us women to take the time to slow down and really cleanse out our system and let our body have an opportunity to open up some new dialogue with us. Our bodies are super intelligent, and they're telling us exactly what we're supposed to hear to have that opportunity to get ourselves fixed before it starts to sink the ship. Dairy intolerances, gluten intolerances, soy exposures that are putting you in a hormonal imbalance. And I'm talking all sorts of soy exposures, grain exposures, bad chicken exposures, not knowing where your beef is being raised and slaughtered. All of those things matter. And in the beginning, what happens is it's usually this compound effect of exposure. So you don't really understand or know how gluten might be affecting you. Gluten, back 3 or 4 years ago when I wasn't making these direct connections, was the thing that when I would wake up in the morning, and this was before I was postmenopausal as well, I would wake up in the morning and tell Michael, like, oh my gosh, I just feel like my body just blew up like a water balloon. And literally from one day to the next, I could gain 7 to 10 pounds in inflammation in my body. Pure inflammation directly related to the soy and the dairy and the gluten that I was exposing myself to, and my body didn't even know how to correctly respond to it because it was being so overly exposed to these intolerances that I couldn't identify what was causing it. I couldn't even direct the symptoms that I was having to the specific thing that I was being exposed to. So it took me a really long time to figure out what my personal intolerances were. And now that I know what they are, I have a little bit more wiggle room. Like I said, I thought the pizza place was the good pizza place. So it wasn't like I just absolutely never eat pizza anymore. I really have to test out the waters and find the places that have the better of the bad food, I guess you would call that, or the places that I have to absolutely put on my no-go list. You also might have, if you've been following me for a while, know my whole process of tortilla chips and how it is that I figured out what corn was doing for me. And corn tortilla chips, or chips and salsa more specifically, was that thing that I just was not going to ever let go of. I went and did my research about oil that was being used in places, making sure it wasn't soybean oil, thinking that was the only thing that was causing me to have reactions. And then I whittled it down and I got my body really fine-tuned, and I thought I had my places identified that I can have my tortilla chips and I wouldn't get sick. And lo and behold, the more healthy I got my body, the more I realized that there was still that thing with corn that was causing me to have some reactions as well. So now when we go out to eat at a Mexican restaurant, I take my own tortilla chips and I eat the salsa and I enjoy the guacamole, but I don't put myself in that position of having a bad day because of something as simple as a corn tortilla chips. So it's definitely a process. It is one of those things that you have to have the mindset and that inner will to figure out what it is that's causing you to be sick. You also have to have the mindset and that inner strength to get yourself through one of those days where you might have to test the waters and just take one for the team. And maybe not feel your absolute best for 24 hours, but if you play it out in your head and you love on yourself and you know you didn't do anything wrong, but it's just part of the process and you can get yourself out of that situation pretty quickly, then before you know it, you've got it all figured out. And this is really what we're teaching in our intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman group. I teach you how to get to that point where you've depleted all the bad foods out of your life. You've created an opportunity where your body can actually get into that hormonal and chemical reset so that when you start re-entering some foods into your lifestyle, you'll be able to identify very quickly which ones are the ones that are causing you the most harm. My aha moment 3 years ago with soy was when I was eating my super healthy turkey bacon, and I pinched off a piece probably about this big from a piece of turkey bacon I had just pulled out of the oven. And within seconds of consuming that tiny little section of turkey bacon, which is quote unquote the healthy bacon, I felt an immediate hormonal response to the soy lecithin that was in my super, super healthy turkey bacon. So like I said, as soon as you get your body on a system, on a time frame where you're really cleansed out and it's really being able to talk to you in a language that you understand, you'll really start to be able to figure out these food intolerances and the signs and signals that your body's sending you that directly correlate to what it is you're being exposed to. So I look at this as a hobby. I look at this as sort of a project that I'm on. I really have stopped beating myself up over these accidental decisions that I'm making to kind of figure out things, and maybe a restaurant that was once good for me is now no longer good for me. I'm okay with that because this is part of the journey, and as long as you keep your senses open and you keep your head on straight and you've got your heart healed about what food is to you, whether it's going to be a powerful tool that you're going to use to provide your body with the nutrients that it needs, put yourself in an athletic state, or just repair what it is you feel like you're leaving, Or you can use food as that thing that's going to punish you and kind of keep you at that sickly place. You're the only one that's going to decide that, but we really do try to teach you how to go through this process in the course that we teach online so that you can finally get to that place where you can live authentically around food while still looking and feeling your best. I truly do believe that there's no such thing as a bad food or a group of bad foods, but there are foods that just happen to be bad for us personally. And I'm finding that the better I feel, the more intolerant I become emotionally to some of these food intolerances physically that I have. So I have valued this new sense of energy and this new sense of healthiness and this new sense of empowerment that I have personally. And I don't let food be that thing that's going to take me out of it. So there's nothing that's going to ever taste as good to you as an absolutely amazing day is going to feel to you, and waking up every day in your own skin, looking and feeling your best, and doing that with some confidence. But it is a process, and it does take some time to get yourself to that point where you can really feel healed about the decisions that you're making. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to jump onto YouTube or Facebook really quickly, and then I'm going to read the comments on YouTube. So welcome to everyone. If you haven't left a comment yet, now's a great time to leave a comment, and that way I can welcome you and answer anything that you have left as far as a comment or a question. Amy, good to have you here, girlfriend. Dana, hello. Diane's here. Cassia, hello. Michelle. Yvonne, hello. Sandy, Jillian, stayed home today because I wasn't feeling well. Seems like I need more carbs today. Think normal. So I had some and I'm feeling much better. Glad that I am getting to know my body. Yeah. You know, and that's that thing with carbs too, you know, and I'm really noticing this, and I'm going to share this. I'm going to go live with my refresher group a little bit later this evening and share some of the things that I'm doing as far as changing with my amped up fitness routine now that I'm training for a half marathon. And sometimes you just need to eat some carbs. Carbs are not bad. Carbs just have to find their place within your 24-hour window. So if you start to feel like you're a little bit depleted on carbs, yes, add them in for sure, especially if you're fasting. Well, remember, fasting and keto-like feasting are the perfect combination to have flexibility in both places. So some days your body just needs more carbs. That is not a bad thing. Just choose those carbs wisely so that you don't end up putting yourself into a sugar spiral that's going to end up going downhill for you. Julie, hello. Elvis, hello. Amanda, I'm here. I just posted my oops moment on a Facebook page, exactly what you're talking about today. Yeah, for sure. It happens to the best of us. It's part of the learning process. It's part of your body also adjusting. So I always appreciate when I have that sense of, ooh, that's not working for me anymore, because I would much rather know and have it be clearly presented to me when I do something that's not going to keep my body at its best, especially these next 3 months when I'm training, than try to guess what it is that's going on. So I actually really did learn a lot from what happened to me on Friday night. And now I'm just gonna, Michael and I already made the decision. There's a really good gluten-free pizza crust that we buy at the store, and we're gonna make our pizza at home with our manchego cheese and the vegetables that we like at home, and the pizza crust that's not gonna make us sick, and probably save a lot of money also. And then the best thing you can do is just stay in control of what it is that you're consuming. And the best way to stay in control is eat at home as much as you can. Anastasia, hello. Vicky, hello. Eileen, hello. Polly, good to have you here. Donna, nice to have you from Ohio. Vicky, hello. Curious, what was your reaction? Not sure what to be wary of. Okay, here's the other thing about food intolerances and reactions. They're different for everyone. And Michael and I really realized this when we had our babies, and I was nursing them, and they both had really bad dairy intolerances. So they're not allergic to dairy, their body was just intolerant to breaking it down digestively, the milk protein. So Logan had he couldn't keep anything in his stomach. It came out both ways. We always had to wear a change of clothes. He cried all the time. It was really hard hard nursing him because he just wasn't happy, and that was because he was sick. I mean, his stomach was sick. He couldn't process dairy, and it was the dairy I was consuming, not my milk per se, but my milk being tainted by dairy I was consuming. And our pediatrician didn't believe that that was a possible thing, and so he told me to stop nursing, that there was something wrong with my milk. Great advice from a pediatrician. And so he put us on formula, put Logan on formula. And then he wasn't doing well with the whey formula, so they put him on a soy formula, which now we know is horrible. And Logan continued to be sick his first year of life until we can get him off of formula, and we started feeding him rice milk and almond milk and anything that wasn't a dairy or a soy. So that was how Logan's presented. And then Gabby, 6 years later, also had dairy intolerances from dairy that I was consuming because we didn't learn the right information from our pediatrician. I didn't know any better. And her body broke out in eczema so bad. I mean, her face was just swollen and red, and she had just eczema all over her body, and she cried all night, and it was miserable for the two of us. And I took her to a lactation consultant this go around, and the lactation consultant took one look at her and said, oh, she has a dairy intolerance. How much dairy are you consuming? And I was consuming very little because I am not a big dairy person myself, but everything that I was consuming had dairy in it in some way, shape, or form. And so once I got myself off of dairy, it took about 2 weeks. She was fine. She was a happy baby. I nursed her till she was about 14 months old. In that same time frame, all the newborn babies in our neighborhood were also having dairy intolerance problems, but they were presenting in different ways. Some had ear infections, some went into anaphylactic shock, some were super constipated, some had rashes, some had, allergy problems, some had acid reflux. No two babies were the same, but the bottom line problem was dairy. So that's the thing about listening to the signs and signals your own body is sending you. It's personal, and it's because your body chemistry is so different. Or maybe it's something along your genetic line with maybe some other people in your family. So you have to really strip it all away and then slowly add it back in to see how you feel. And if something feels off or you have a reaction in your body, then it's probably something that you just put in, and you have to do it slowly, and you have to do it systematically, and you have to really keep track of it. And that's what we really teach you in the course, how to do all that. Oh man, I felt the very same joint pain, even the soles of my feet the next morning. Yeah, and Michael had gout really bad, and he connected that to gluten as well. So those aches and pains aren't supposed to be there. I am ache and pain free today, coming off of 2 back-to-back intense days of working out, and I ran 90 minutes on a treadmill yesterday. I should be hurting or aching somewhere. Not an ache or pain, not a hip pain, not a knee pain, not a back pain, not a foot pain, nothing. My nutrition the last 2 days has been spot on, so it does make a difference for sure. Robin from Chicago, hello. Pam, I have to admit I feel so much better when I'm gluten-free and I don't feel poofy. Yeah, that's for sure. The poofiness goes away in your face. Corn is the one thing that causes painful under eye bags for me. Really bad pressure up around my eyes, and so when I don't eat corn, I don't have that. I don't have to spend a ton of money on puffiness for my eyes. I just don't eat corn, and if I eat corn, I get poofy eyes. So it comes out on people different ways, but you got to pay attention to it for sure. Making sure you're not spending a bunch of money trying to cover up something that is just your body's inability to break down a food substance. Pam, got that one. Robin, both my mom and grandma have arthritis, both lived unto their 90s, but not in good health. That's why I do what I do. Yeah, there you go, Robin, for sure. Yeah, my grandmother couldn't even use her hands the later part of her life, and she had Alzheimer's, I think dementia and Alzheimer's. I know one kind of leads to the other, so I know it's kind of a precursor for me, and it all goes back to everything that we're consuming and our bodies breaking down. Barty, good afternoon from Virginia. Yuck, turkey bacon, give me the real bacon. Yeah, that's how we are now for sure. Elizabeth, I'm here just soaking up your great information. Well, thanks for being here, Elizabeth. Robin, hello, I'm new to keto. I really like it, but should I eat dairy? We don't follow a ketogenic diet at all. We have created what we call a keto-like lifestyle. So if you're following a keto diet, I'm not the person that you want to get information from. We really do believe in building a lifestyle that helps you live authentically and you're not following a predetermined plan from someone else. Let's see. Just broke a 22-hour fast. Love this lifestyle. So easy. Having some pumpkin seeds. Yeah, there you go. And pumpkin seeds are full of magnesium, so good for you. And then the other thing I wanted to say, Robin, about a keto lifestyle, if you don't like dairy and the food style you're about to follow is high dairy requirements or suggestions, that's not the lifestyle for you, regardless of the results other people are getting. So you have to really create a lifestyle built around you. And Michael and I made that mistake when we started drinking bulletproof coffee because we thought it was all the rage and we were putting butter in our coffee, and we don't do dairy. So we started to make ourselves really sick trying to follow what other people are doing and not thinking for ourselves. So think about the foods that really do allow you to look and feel your best while you live your most authentic life. And authentic means you, not what someone else is telling you to do. Jennifer, hello. Vicky, what chips do you eat and the source you buy them from? So I eat Siete Foods is the company, and they're grain-free tortilla chips. We like the sea salt and the lime the best. And I get them at Whole Foods or Sprouts. And I think you can get them from the company directly as well. So they are a great source. And they also have a cashew queso that is to die for. And if you can find it on a shelf in a store somewhere, good luck. All the stores around here are always sold out of it, but that's a great non-dairy queso as well. So really great company Siete chips. Kara posted the link. Robin, what pizza crust? It's the Udi's brand, so UDI''S brand pizza crust. It's gluten-free. You can find it just about anywhere. And there was another gluten-free pizza crust that we were using. I think it was at Trader Joe's, but they stopped selling it because now they have cauliflower crust. But read the ingredients label of all of your cauliflower pizza crust. Not all of them are just cauliflower. It's been really hard to find a cauliflower crust with no soybean oil. So you don't want to think you're doing something healthy for yourself eating cauliflower crust when it is stuck together with soybean oil or soybean lecithin. So make sure you're reading all of those ingredients labels for sure.
What about Oprah's? She just came out with one.
Oprah did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, half cauliflower, half regular? Yeah, it's probably not gluten-free though. Is it gluten-free? Yeah, and it probably has soybean oil in it because you probably don't know. So read your ingredients label and figure out what ingredients work best for you. Robin, I don't believe milk is for human consumption. If it's not your mother's milk, you should not be drinking it. Well, that's a philosophy for sure. Avatar Plus, hello, Shelly. SL Bruno, FYI, anyone new to keto like me, make sure you stay away from the stevia sweetener in the green bag at Walmart. It is full of filler. It really doesn't have stevia in it at all. Yeah, that's another one of those things. There's a word called enriched, and then another word called pure, and we got zapped on this as well. Enriched means that it's what it says it is plus a bunch of other things, and pure is pure. So make sure when you're reading those ingredients labels, if you're buying coconut oil, the ingredient is coconut oil. If you're buying stevia, the ingredient is stevia. If you're purchasing MCT oil, the ingredient is MCT oil. Enriched means there's some of what it's advertised to be and a whole lot of other stuff, usually when you're trying to buy a cheaper version or a knockoff brand. So make sure you're reading your ingredients labels on everything for sure. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Veronica, made from Australia. You were great. I love your videos. Maria from Australia. I said made from Australia. It says Veronica and then it says Maria. So welcome from Australia. We love having you here. Vicky, hello. Ellen, what are your thoughts on vitamins? Do they knock you out of a fasting state? I say yes, and there's no need to take vitamins in a fasted state. I always say either take them right before you break your fast or take them at the end of your fast, maybe before you go to bed. Before I go to bed is my preferred time to take vitamins when I take them. But I don't take vitamins just blindly anymore. I really determine my vitamin or supplement regimen based on what my body needs at that time. And there's understanding what certain vitamins and certain minerals do for you and how they're supposed to make you feel is super important. If you're just taking vitamins because someone says that you're supposed to take vitamins and your body doesn't need that vitamin or that mineral because you're not deficient in it, then you're wasting your money. So go get some blood work done. Make sure you're not deficient in areas, or the areas that you are deficient in, then supplement from there. And then pick and choose the vitamin supplementation you want based on how your body's feeling. So otherwise you're sort of just wasting your money. You can get a lot of nutrients from really good food, or just consistency with really good food. And then fasting also, remember, fasting is an opportunity for your body to eat away stored nutrients in your body. So don't just blindly take vitamins. Make sure you understand why you're taking vitamins, what you're taking the vitamins for, and what and the why correlate to how you want to look and feel, for sure. Veronica, got that one already. Vicky, hello. Ellen got that one. And then Robin, thanks, Diane. I'm familiar with Udi's. Make your own cauliflower crust. Yeah, I'm not about making my own cauliflower crust. I'm sorry. I'm super simple, and I do some cooking and some baking at home, but I just have no desire to make cauliflower crust. I'll just do Udi's gluten-free, or I won't eat pizza, or I'll figure out another way to make it happen for myself, but I'm just not about that cauliflower crust making. That's just not me at all. Maybe Gabby will do it. I don't know. Let's see what else we got here on Facebook. I'm here, just posted. Oh, you got that one already. Lorraine, hi Diane. Good to be here. Will you mention what time you are going online for the refresher group tonight? My hope is to do it around 5:30. So 5:30 Central Standard Time. So that would be in like an hour and a half. So 5:30 will be my goal, plus or minus 5 minutes. So just be there, and then when I go live, you'll be notified for sure. Let's see, Elvis. My oops moment was having an egg bites from Starbucks. Immediately cramped up and got nauseous and started sweating. I just can't do any kind of dairy. Yeah, and I don't know if Starbucks dairy is going to be the best either. Like, dairy's that thing, cheese especially, that it is. It could be, they have to keep their stuff in a window or something, or keep it in fresh for a long time. May not be pure cheese. It could be pure dairy. It could be enriched with some stuff to keep it preserved. So always be careful about those pre-packaged kind of things for sure. Elvis, I was shocked how fast my body reacted once they were digested. Yep, it happens fast, especially when you have fine-tuned things. So when you know what your food intolerances are, and you've really cleaned the shop out, and your body is ready to respond, it will send you a very quick signal, very quick. And that's why we have to be patient, and that's why we have to be in the moment. We cannot be checked out from our bodies any longer. We have to have that intimate relationship. We have to keep the lines of communication open, and then we have to be quick to respond to those reactions, so we make the connection from what we just did to how we're now feeling, and then we can retrace our steps and make sure that we don't keep exposing ourselves to that. Kristen, hi, my boy is Logan too. Oh, how sweet. We love Logan. Love Logan. Megan, I'm thinking gluten makes my ankles puffy. Yeah, it probably does, because it causes you to retain water and fluid. And so it probably is causing you some sort of inflammation. Here's the thing about inflammation too, that's scary, and I think we don't think about it as much as we should, is, and we have a lot of women here in this community who are runners, who are coming back to me saying that their running stress incontinence is gone. I ran 90 minutes on the treadmill yesterday, no incontinence issues whatsoever, and I've been struggling with that since I had my sweet little Logan 18 years ago. So it's all inflammation. So it's the inflammation where you notice that your ankles are poofy, or the inflammation under your eyes, or the inflammation when your joints hurt. Like, that's all like inflammation that we're so grateful to have if we pay attention to it and we do the things to make it go away. But what about the inflammation around your heart? What about the inflammation in your brain? What about the inflammation in your digestive system? What about the inflammation that's going on internally that maybe we're not seeing? What about that inflammation that's going on internally in our brain and around our heart and in our digestive system and all around the organs and body systems that we have, that won't present itself to us until it's almost too late? So if you're seeing the external responses that come with consuming things that your body can't break down because it's intolerant to, you have to pay attention, because that's a gift. if it's visible and it's noticeable, do something about it. Because there's also stuff going on the inside that's probably been going on a lot longer than the outside stuff. And if you keep ignoring it, you're gonna have something pop up that you weren't expecting. And if you don't have a plan in place and you don't know how to manage your body and you don't know how to keep yourself well, then you're now in the hands of other people making those decisions for you. That's a scary place to be today. So we have to start taking control of our health, and we have to start listening to our bodies, and we have to stay checked in. We can't zone out anymore. It's just way too dangerous for sure. Megan, I figured since it doesn't hurt my belly, I was okay. Oh, no. Gluten is, read the book, The Grain Brain, if you want to understand what gluten is doing to us and what it's doing to us women specifically, what it's doing to our kids, as far as a lot of the disorders that have been very rampant today with kids not being able to sit. I know even our little Gabby has a really hard time sitting and concentrating on her homework when her diet is not on track, because it just messes with our brain. It messes with the chemical balances in our brain. It messes with the signals that our body is sending us, and it puts us in hormonal turmoil. So if you have a child at home that's having a hard time in school or maybe a hard time concentrating, I would seriously look at their nutrition and see what it is that they're living on a daily basis. Now, with that being said, kids are kids, right? So Gabby has been educated. We do not tell our kids that there is any bad food. We really try to have them listen to the signs and signals that their body is sending them as well. And we ultimately let them make the decision. But if you don't educate your kids that way and you teach them that food is bad, that's when we start to become these adults who are really using food in the wrong way. So educate your kids. Tell them why you're eating the way you're eating. Share with them what it could do for their body if they just make these subtle changes, and then find alternatives. Our house right now, as I'm sitting in it, is full of chocolate bars, is full of cookies, full of chips, full of ice cream. It's just the good stuff. It's the stuff that doesn't have soy, doesn't have corn, doesn't have gluten, and doesn't have any of those things that's going to cause Gabby's little brain to be tired and not be able to focus, and it's not going to cause me and Michael to go into some sort of tailspin with how it is that we want to feel every day when we wake up. Now, knowing that there are good options for those things out there, those things have their place too. I always say that there's no swimsuit model or no professional athlete or no Olympian that's living on candy bars and potato chips. You just can't have that sort of stamina and energy and physique and live on all those little extras. So place those things in your nutritional life, or place those things in your feasting window when they're appropriate for you based on the goals that you want to have for yourself. And if there's no room for them, then those are just extras. You have to kind of be okay with that. If you can manage your feasting on nutrient-dense foods and you're fasting well, and maybe you've amped up your exercise. I know for me, I have to eat so much more now in my feasting window because I'm exercising more and longer. My body just needs the calories. So I have to add more food in. I just make sure when I add in some of those extras that they are of the best quality. So I'm not going to hamper what I want to do with my fitness goals. I'm not going to hamper how I want to feel every day. I'm not going to hamper how I want to look, trying to fill in some gaps nutritionally. There's lots of really good nutrition out there today. You just have to be willing to look for it. Anything else, Michael, over there?
Just a few.
Okay, what you got?
Okay, Robin said, yeah, she said Diane, cauliflower crust is a little work.
Yeah, nah.
And Nyama, I think that's how you say it. So your answer is yes, vitamins will break your fast.
Yes.
And Aaron Myers, so do your kids IF?
Not technically, like we don't tell them to fast. One of the big aha moments I personally had with fasting was, one for me personally was, once I started fasting, and I was feasting in my family's dinner time window, I was actually able to finally eat with my family like a normal person. When I was dieting, I was on a limited calorie type of plan, and once I hit my calorie target for the day, I was done eating. So if I had any calories left to consume at dinner, it was usually pretty small. So now I just feast with my family. I don't count calories and I don't count macros. So whatever they eat, I eat, and it's in my feasting window. I also realized that it's okay to go without food. You do not have to constantly be stuffing your body with food. So I ask my daughter a very simple question every day: are you hungry this morning? And if she says no, I don't shove food down her throat. Breakfast is not the smartest meal of the day. Especially breakfast foods are not the smartest foods to start your day. So if she's not hungry, I'll just pack a little bit more food in her lunch, and I'm in control of everything that goes in her lunch, because what if we have in our house is only the good stuff. Don't put stuff in your house you don't want your kids to eat. Don't blame your kids for having a bad nutritional life. If you're the one that goes grocery shopping, you're the one putting the stuff in the cart, you're the one putting the stuff in the car, you're the one putting the stuff in the cupboard. So only pick foods for your family that you really want them to eat. She has an assortment of things to choose from. She picks what she wants to eat in her day, and then we load up her lunchbox and we send her off to school, and then we have a really good dinner at night. So they eat when they feel like they want to eat, and I no longer force my daughter to eat food before she leaves for school in the morning. And our son, he is at SMU at college, and he really does find that he feels best physically, mentally, and emotionally when he puts himself in a fasted state. He doesn't fast every day. He just is not afraid to not eat all the time. So he really does go off his body signals as well, and he does report back to us that he thrives in a fasted state, and so he really does look for the opportunities to fast as well. So it's one of those things that I think the more you understand the benefits of fasting, the less fearful you are of it, and then you can kind of just let it fall where it needs to fall. We answer everything?
Robin said, great topic today.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to share that experience with myself this weekend, because I know is perfect, and that you'll, like, if you have a bad day that you did something wrong, or you ate something and you had a reaction, that's a bad thing. I always consider those really, I kind of consider them gifts, because I learn so much more about why it's important for me to live this way. I learn so much more about why it's not a big treat anymore to even go out to eat when I'm not in control of what I'm eating. We're very specific about where we eat now and how we order our food, and we're not afraid to ask the right questions at a restaurant, and we're not afraid to pass that on to our kids as well. So time and consistency is your best friend with this type of lifestyle, and we really try to give you the foundation and the core of that in our intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course. We give you 3 weeks to really spend some time concentrating on you and your body and figuring out what it is that's going to make you look and feel your best. And within the first week of our course, you guys, women are coming back with some really amazing aha moments and some really great results. 1 week is really all it takes to really get your body to that cleansed point where you can start to notice some things. Yeah.
Elizabeth Cole said, thank you so much for the vitamin answer.
You're welcome.
And Aaron Meyer says, thanks, trying to help my 15-year-old find balance with good nutrition and being an athlete, but want to make sure it's okay to tell them it's okay to fast.
Yeah, it's definitely not a problem to fast. Here's the thing that with young kids is you don't want to necessarily like follow a protocol. I say go with a feel. So if your son doesn't want to eat breakfast, I wouldn't force them, especially when breakfast is like waffles or cereal or some of the breakfast foods. They're not the best nutrition. You'd be better off going without. And then with even a 15-year-old, I wouldn't be afraid to supplement with some things, maybe throughout his day, like get a good protein bar. He probably needs calories when he is feasting.
Are you assuming it's a he?
Is it a he or a she?
She didn't say.
I just assumed it was a he. What'd she?
She said, trying to help my 15-year-old find balance.
Oh, okay, well, he or she. Maybe you can tell me if it's a he or she so I say the right thing. So your 15-year-old. We're never afraid to help our kids supplement either. We just make sure that they're also getting good quality food. So supplementation does not make up for a bad nutritional window. Supplementation is supplementing an already good nutritional lifestyle. So you want to stack them. You don't want to have one replace the other. So we do help our kids with that as well. Gabby's an athlete too. She's running cross country. So you just want to make sure that they're getting good quality food when they're feasting and not just filler, empty food with bad ingredients in it just to say they ate. And there is some finesse to it, but it's all worth it, and you'll help yourself if you kind of, are following this, and then just have your 15-year-old kind of model what you're doing. And there's going to be days when they're hungry. Feed them, and feed them well. And on the days where they feel like they don't necessarily need to eat anything, it's okay to go a few hours without eating. It's fine, for sure. Yeah? All right, cool. Okay, so we got to jump off. It's been an hour. It's always so fun to be able to hang out with you guys and have some good conversation. If you're feeling off, it's probably a food intolerance. Don't mask it with over-the-counter remedies. See if you can grin and bear it and really come to the root cause of what it is that's making you feel not your absolute best. Age is not a thing that we should determine is going to take things away from our life. I am 52 years old, feeling my absolute best when I am on track with everything that I need to do with my fasting, my feasting, and my fitness. I wasn't feeling this way at 50, and I wasn't feeling this way at 49. So you can get it back, and you can feel as good as you believe you should feel and as good as you want to feel. But it all comes down to you listening to your body. Our next course is starting October the 5th. Registration is open. So if you want to spend 3 weeks with me where we really dig this down to the basics and really get you back to that point where you can start to figure out what some of these signs and signals are, I would love to have you with us. We always end up having a really great group of women working together to reach our absolute best life that we want to live. And I hope today you will make the decisions that will help you get to that point where you look and feel your best and live your most authentic life. Mwah. Refresher group, I'll see you about 5:30, and for the rest of you, I'll see you guys on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, right back here.